Hey there. So I am trying to get back into the routine for myself. I'm making my second video, and it's funny how it's already really challenging to make a second video. Like, I know I was gonna have this fear of making and publishing more content, and that's the reason why I wanted to start this channel in the first place. And I already am really feeling like that pressure, or that like question of like, why are you doing this? I guess like this balance of knowing that if I can push past like the pointlessness of it, that there might be something on the other side. And yeah, it's only the second video. Like, I pushed the first video, felt great, knew this was coming. Here I am, and I already feel it. But I don't know. I'm just gonna do it anyway. Yes. I don't know. I don't know what else to do. Just put something up. See how it goes. So in this video, I'm just going to talk a little bit about what is in my normal routine and why it's important. I'm going to talk about a little bit more about why I'm struggling with all of this, with the YouTube situation already. And yeah, I'm just going to break down those two things. I think in a future video, so two videos that I know I want to make are one more that I know I want to make like this, that's just all of my like goals laid out, things that I'm working towards, which I think will all eventually I want to try to make content about all of that. And then of course the other one that is a little bit different, or at least I'm planning for it to be a little bit different, is the sort of review or recap of the book, The Story of Art. And yeah, that one's already like really freaking me out. My relationship with that, it's so funny, my relationship with that book has changed because of my own mental commitment to make a video about it. Actually like actively don't want to pick up the book. Before I was having a lot of fun with it. Now I'm like, even the thought of making the video has got me feeling some sort of way. Like, I don't know, it's been a week. Like, it's in the back of my head. I want to know what's in there. Part of the feeling, I guess, that I have with that is that, like, in order to make the video, I have to know what I want to do or what I want to say, what my perspective is. Thinking in a lot of ways, it's a lot better to read the book thinking about the video, planning for the video, because I'm really having to be more thoughtful, like go back and be like, okay, like what are you learning here? That's really going to be the whole point, is like, what did I learn by, looking into that book or reading that book, thinking about it. But the other trick is that I want it to be my first shot at something that's more like, I say high production, but like my first time really editing a video at all. And that's probably the most intimidating part of it. That is the most intimidating part of it, is knowing that project like sits at the end of reading the book itself. So I'll talk a little bit more about my routine, but getting that book back into my routine is a real struggle. So one of the other goals that I have, it's going a lot better, is to do a daily workout. So I'm in week 3 essentially right now. The end goal, like loosely, is to do a Murph, which is a CrossFit workout. It is, off the top of my head, I think it's a half-mile run, 100 pull-ups, 200 push-ups, 300 squats, and then another half-mile run. I think in order to do like a formal Murph, I say it like you do it in a tuxedo, you'd have to do it with some sort of weight vest on. I don't care about that. In fact, actually, I think my first milestone would just be to do like a quarter Murph. That's about where I'm at right now, which is 25 pull-ups, 50 push-ups, some 80, I don't know. What is 75-ish squats, and then I don't even care about the run. I just want to be able to get to that moment. And I'm relatively close. Like, those are my stats. I think if I were to do it today, to just go for it, I could get pretty close. So the big thing for me, like, that I've learned in my life, like, is that the daily routine is essentially everything. And so it's always scary when something comes and throws that off. Like, that happens to all of us. It happened to me this last week. Like, we had some guests in town. I knew I wasn't going to do anything. I was like up late drinking on a weeknight before work. So I knew I wasn't going to do anything. That's normally my daily routine, which is fine. Like, that's not a big deal. I think the big deal is that, like, making sure that I get back to that. Like, that I get, because the next day, right, like the next day you're hungover, you're tired. And like, there's almost a laziness that you want to transition into that second day. And so for me this time, what worked out really well was mentally, I just like cut myself some slack, and I didn't pick the day that I wanted to return back to my normal daily routine right away. I like felt it out a little bit, and I didn't put a lot of pressure on like getting back into it ASAP, but I put the pressure back on, like, when I do pick this day, I will not miss it. So I think it was actually the second day, like, I wasn't feeling good. I actually picked up a little bit of a cough, which is, I mean, it's pandemic times, so scary, but I think I'm fine. And yeah, I hit the day. Like, I made my mark. I got back into my stuff. So my routine, like what I'm talking about, is I I try to get 8 hours of sleep. It's like usually pretty close. I go to bed at 11, wake up at 7. I do a 30-minute workout, hang out with my family a little bit, work, eat, and then my wife and I kind of hang out for a little bit, and then I come downstairs at like 9:15, 9:30, and then I work from that 9:30 to 11 to work on my stuff, like the stuff that's in this video, the story of art, a lot of my projects, like all the goals that I'll talk about in the next video. They sit in that like hour and a half time slot. That time slot is also the hardest thing to make sure that I'm like using, because I also just will burn that time playing video games or like doing whatever, which is also fine. As long as I always have something, like I would say like 4 or 5 nights a week. No, 4 nights a week where I'm doing something that I'm like creating content, like anything, working in, my workshop, I say workshop at my garage with like my tools that hang on the wall. Just progressing, I think more than half of the time is the ideal setup. But that's my normal routine. And like, I think I'm, like I said, week 3 of all of it. It's the workout started alongside like all the other things that I wanted to do. And it's been good. I successfully traversed the first thing that I knew was going to throw me off. Because if I'm like 4 or 5 days in a row, it's easy. It's way easier. There's like an automatic, and I rely on that. I don't have the willpower to start from scratch very often. So I have to basically use all my willpower in just retaining the sanctity of the routine. That's what I'm hanging on to now. That's what I'm trying out now, because I don't have a lot of discipline, but I do find that like if I can do a little bit of everything, like if I can do a little bit of something every day, then I think I'll be able to achieve the things that I want to achieve over a long period of time. And then I can think about how to make it more efficient or to speed up or what else works and all that other stuff. This is going to end up being a relatively long video, but that's like kind of just an update on what's going on. The other thing that I wanted to talk about was, so the channel that I'm using as my inspiration again is Wheezy News for this video, and then Wheezy Waiter, same guy, for this story of art. The real difference is that this video obviously has no editing. It's just like almost like a personal journal for myself, and the Wheezy Waiter channel is what I want to do. I want to emulate that for the story of art video, which is higher production, and it's more like, I'm not gonna say like geared towards getting views or getting traction or anything like that, but it's just a higher quality presentation of me. And I was watching him again last night. It's so funny. So he just hit 1 million subscribers, which is really cool. And he's going to do a video about it. And he says that, hold on, I have it written down here. He's going to do a video. It's like kind of like my recipe towards 1 million subs. For him, that translates towards like my recipe towards, or my recipe for achieving my dream. Because he's really dedicated the last, I think, like 12 or 13 years of his life to working on YouTube, making that his full-time job. So he's already kind of spoiled that video. And the general outline is that, you know, learn about the thing you want to do, make a ton of stuff, or just do that thing a lot, regardless, like almost like disregard the success and focus on churning it out, which that's what I'm trying to do right now. And emulate someone that you look up to. That's me. In my translation of that, I'm looking at him and going like, I really like your channel. I like the way it's set up. I want to do the same thing. There's like a weird problem with it though, like that I'm finding, that I know I'm not talking to anyone other than myself. Like even the vernacular that he uses is different. Like he says, you guys, or you, I mean, like you can just tell he's really having a conversation with his audience. He knows he's going to have one. I'm having a conversation with myself, which feels a lot more silly to do. Like I almost feel like I'm just putting up something that's annoying. But I have to remind myself that like I'm in this real second step of what he's talking about, which is like just make the thing. Ignore whether you feel like you're being successful or not. I mean, like edit yourself, critique your work. At this point, in these types of videos, there's nothing really to critique. It's just like a stream of consciousness, so it is what it is. But the only thing for me to critique is like whether I actually publish it or not. But yeah, it feels weird. It just feels really weird. But also I will say, like, I was gonna do a written journal version of this random spiel, and when I started it, and I felt the urge to come do it in video format. So that's positive. That's positive, I think. So I should just keep doing it more. I think I was really afraid of this feeling, and it came for me so quickly. Like, I really honestly, I thought like you're gonna hit this wall of feeling like you're doing a pointless thing at like, I don't know, week 5 or 6, you know, when you've got, it's just you out on the internet by yourself for 6 weeks. But I felt it before I even started the second video. So what I'm hopeful for is that I can just like get over it and just produce more and more and more stuff and build towards the story of art. I have no idea when I'm actually going to be capable of making that video. I'm hopeful that I can make it in like the next couple of months, but I'm not really putting like my nose to the grindstone here. I'm just trying to bake that into this normal cycle of things that I do. And so it's not like I'm super grinding, and it's just going to happen when it happens. And that makes me scared because like I've already made this commitment to myself to do it, and now I just don't even know when I'll be capable. But I need to let that go as well. So I'm just kind of getting settled, I think, in all this stuff. And I don't know, maybe it'll get easier, maybe it won't. You know, one of the things that I really admire about what Craig does on Wheezy Waiter specifically, and then I'm gonna shut up, but I think it's really relevant to me too, is one, he's really disciplined about, like, if he says he's gonna do something for 30 days, even if it's absurd, I think he's only ever given up on like a couple of challenges that I've ever seen him do over the course of the last like 3 or 4 years that he's been doing that type of content. And so he hits his mark in terms of doing the thing, even if like a lot of times I think he's gotten settled into a challenge of some kind and realized that it wasn't gonna turn out the way that he thought it was gonna turn out. Maybe it was even like not a good outcome for him. But he'll keep doing it for the sake of the fact that he committed to the thing. I so admire him for that. And it's funny, some of the challenges that he does, like the working out for me is not hard, like in a sense that like I have done strength and weight training in and out of my life for many years. So that's not a big deal. I actually rely on that as like one of the things that's easier for me to do on a regular basis, and it keeps me more like focused on the other stuff that's like outside of my comfort zone, like this, making these videos. But he's doing strength training right now, and it's kicking his ass. Like he's never, I mean, he just never done that, and he sticks to it. Like he's on week like 9, and he makes videos every week about it. He does exactly what he says he's gonna do, and that's just so cool. So I hope that just doing the thing is gonna help me do it more in the future. Like, for example, this video, 18 minutes, 30 seconds at the mark right now. It's like way too long. I'm doing this horribly. I'm gonna watch it back and be like, what are you talking about? But I'm gonna publish it. So, and I'm gonna come back. So, all right.